Hello everyone and welcome to our race commentary video for the most recent round of the CSCC Puma Cup at Snetterton, which took place a few days ago on the 6th of July. As you can see, we've got Ian Howard in the car again. Ian guest driving for Team Guroba for the second time this season. He joined us at Silverstone a few weeks ago and had an amazing race. We'll really want to watch that video back if you've not seen it yet. It was quite incredible. He finished second in that one, so was keen to do better this time around. Qualifying in the morning was very wet. It was drying up towards the end, and we thought we'd got pole position until literally the last few seconds of the session when Marcus Williams beat us to that. So Marcus on pole, Ian in second, Luke behind in third, Neil and Nick, Gareth, and then the Jackson brothers racing their dad's car in memory of him. Their dad being Mark Jackson, of course. So here we go, rolling start at Snetterton from second on the grid. And there goes the green flag, and off we go. Now, Ian got a pretty decent start. You can't see him anywhere at the moment, but Marcus is on our right-hand side, holding the inside. And we can see Luke in the rearview mirror, and there's Neil in the white Honda. But white Honda? White Puma. Marcus managed to get to the inside, and it looks like Ian's going to try and dive up the inside of the Honda Civic. And who's that coming through? Wow, this is my first time watching this. That was hectic. Okay, good job, Ian. Bit bumpy on the inside, but good job holding the apex there to protect the inside. Where's Luke? Oh, there he is. Flipping out. I wasn't expecting that. Luke must have got a much better exit into this left-hander at Palmer's. So we're down into third place now, and we've got Neil in the rearview mirror. Neil's car is predominantly white, but it's got a black bumper, so it does appear like a black car in the rearview mirror. But no worries, all good. Right, so we're through the first few corners. Luke's having a go at the inside for the lead now. There we are on the live stream, defending from Neil. I don't know where to look. Flipping heck. Right. So yeah, third place. Neil in our rearview mirror. Luke and Marcus up ahead. Luke obviously didn't quite get the run coming out of Agostini, so it settled into single file around this cut. Is this one Nelson? I don't know. I can never. Oh, is that? Oh, his Lops is up at Alton. I don't know my corner names around this circuit. I should do. But I do know this one. This is the Bentley Straight. This is the longest straight that we go to in the Puma Cup. So we get up to a top speed of about 110 miles an hour. It's a long one. How's it looking in the rearview mirror? We're not being threatened from behind at the moment, and there's a bit of a gap now to Luke up ahead. Now, we all know how quick Luke is. It was a bit of a surprise to see him qualify in third, but the session this morning, it was really, really wet. It was horrible. It was dry on some parts than it was on others, and it made for a very unpredictable session. So whilst it was a surprise to see Luke in third, it's not a surprise to see him up in second and chasing for the lead. Now, Marcus in the purple car up ahead, leading us round Coram as we come to the end of the first lap. This is Marcus's second race in the Puma Cup. The car prepared by Mark Hadfield Motorsport, and yeah, it's certainly on the pace, and Marcus is pretty handy. He knows what he's doing. He's done a fair bit of racing in the modified Ford series, so he's used to racing a Puma very quickly, but not one in this specification. But he's certainly got the hang of it straight away, put it on pole position and led the first lap. So what's Ian thinking at this stage of the race? I don't want to put thoughts into his head or speak on his behalf, but this is what I think Ian is thinking. I expect he's pretty annoyed at himself. He's not that he's done anything wrong. He had a good start, and bit of a lock up into the hairpin. Careful, Ian. He got a decent start. It was whatever happened at turn 2, the Wilson hairpin on the first lap. I don't know if his exit was compromised or whether he over-defended a little bit. I'm not sure. But Ian wants the win today. He's raced with us in Puma Cup twice. First time at Alton Park last year, he came second. And a few weeks ago at Silverstone, he also came second. Although we had the pace to win that day, it was a very eventful race. And it didn't quite happen. So Ian's really chomping at the bit for the win. And with these two up ahead, Marcus and Luke fighting, that naturally compromises their pace. As Marcus takes a defensive line to prevent attack from Luke, it means that he's not making it round the corner in the quickest way possible, and that's allowed Ian to get back onto Luke's rear bumper. Now, slipstreaming is quite a big one in the Puma Cup, and with this being the longest straight, slipstreaming can make a difference of probably a 2-3 tenths if you get a good run. Although this is the longest straight, it's not the fastest that we go, because the entry speed onto this straight is not as fast as the entry speed onto the hanger straight at Silverstone. But look at them two now getting defensive down the inside. Luke has to go to the inside there, because that's the obvious way to try and get round. So Marcus has to defend it, but it tightens up their radius around the corner, which is not as quick as the racing line that Ian took. So through the bomb hole, it's going to be hard on the power. Now, this long right-hander up here, Coram, is one of the scariest corners in UK motorsport, I think. It's very reminiscent of Thruxton. Look at Ian doing minor corrections on the steering wheel, just trying to balance the car on that limit, get the car dancing, and then sharp turn in for a wide exit up over the curbing to try and get the best power down the straight. Now, up on the live stream, see the Renault Clio, some kind of issue there, make a note of that. And on the main screen on the right hand side, did you see that? That was the Honda Integra DC5 being driven at that point by Nigel Ainge. You can see it, you could see it on the live stream. Nigel shares that car with our good friend Danny from DHD Motorsport. It's a phenomenal car, but clearly today something went wrong. More on that later. But we got a car stationary on the start line, and there you go. Yeah, the safety car is now called out to recover that one. We didn't know it at the time, but I think it was a bearing, a wheel bearing on the car failed, and that pulled the drive shaft out, and the car spat over to the right hand side because only one of the wheels had got drive, and that clipped, I believe, I could be wrong here, I believe that clipped the Renault Clio that we saw dancing across the grass. So we're now in a safety car situation in third place. Now, in the Puma Cup, as I'm sure most of you know, everybody has to make a mandatory pit stop. The pit stop must last for 90 seconds from the moment you cross the entry line until the moment you cross the exit line. So you have to remain stationary for a period in the pits and time the moment you leave the garage so that you cross the line at the end. There's Danny and Nigel's car, Nigel inside, being helped by the marshals. Big shout out to the marshals. Say thank you to them properly later when I finish telling you about the pit stops. If I remember, I hope I do. So yeah, now in an ideal world, you want to make your pit stop under the safety car, because while you're stuck for 90 seconds, everyone else is pootling around at safety car speed rather than full racing speed. And that means that you don't lose as much physical space on the track as you would under a pit stop in normal conditions. So the plan is to pit under the safety car. However, not quite as simple as that, because if you look at that timer in the top right hand corner, I've put that on as a guide so I know where we are in the race. I hope it's a feature that you like. The pit window doesn't open until 10 minutes into the race, so we can't come into the pits for our stop until that timer is on 30 or less. And given the fact that we're coming round the final corner now, there's no way we're going to do 2.5 minutes before we get to the pit entry. So Ian has to stay out this time and follow the pack round while the marshals see about clearing up Nigel's car. There's the safety car on the stream at the moment. The leaders will be catching up to that soon. There's Nigel's car on the right-hand side as we go past all the marshals saying stay left. We run the pit car radio in the Puma Cup, but because of Ian's helmet, he doesn't have a microphone in there to talk back to us. But it's great from a competitive point of view. It does give us an advantage in some situations, having the radio. But in this one, it was also a safety advantage as well. We were able to communicate to Ian there was a stationary car on the circuit where he wasn't expecting there to have been one. Now, if the safety car had been a bit later being thrown, although there would have been yellow flags on the start line, Ian might not have realised that the car was there, and we were able to tell him over the radio, stay left on the start line, there's a stationary car. So yeah, it probably didn't make any difference, but it's the kind of thing you'd rather have than not. So halfway, well, we're not even halfway around the lap on this safety car lap yet. You see the Proton up in the on the live stream also with what looks to be a mechanical issue and pulling off. But the timer, we've got 1 minute to go until the pit window opens. So there's a very strong chance the pit window will be open by the time Ian comes around to the pit entrance. So we've realised this now. So we're telling Ian, box this lap, let's take the pit stop under the safety car. Now, it's highly likely that everybody else on the grid will be doing the same thing. Because of the position of the crocodile, of all the cars on the circuit, and the timing, everybody's going to hit this pit window by the time they get round to the start line or to the pit entrance. So we are now anticipating a very, very busy pit lane. 28 cars on the grid in this race, 6 of them Pumas. We were the second strongest class on the grid. Only Class A and the Tim Tops had got more. They'd got 7 entries, so we weren't far behind. But once again, Puma Cup's becoming the dominant force on the Tin Top grid, and that's something to be proud of. We're doing really well, and the racing backs it up. The racing has been phenomenal this year. It's been really, really good. So back to the pit stop. Yeah, we're expecting the pits to be incredibly congested. There's not much room in there, and you know the cars have to line up bumper to bumper to fit. Now, if the car in front of you has got a success penalty from a previous round, not in the Puma Cup, the other Tin Tops classes have success penalties, so it's not inconceivable that the car directly in front of you is going to be stationary for a period longer, you know, possibly 30 seconds. And what we don't want to be doing is have to push back to get enough room to swing out. So myself, Mark and Mike are doing our best, as is every other pit crew in the pit lane, to sort of cordon off some space and sort of claim ownership of the little bit in front of the garage. But it's a bit like the Wild West in that situation. You can cordon it off as much as you like, but if a car starts driving towards you and pulls into the spot where you're stood, you move out the way. And the drivers are pretty savvy to that as well, so nobody's fooling anybody, but we'll try it anyway. Why not? What the hell? But about this point, you know, we're 2 corners away from the pit entrance now. We then hear over the bulletin, the race control system, that the safety car will be coming through the pit lane. Now, this is to make sure that the safety crew removing Nigel's car have got as much space as they need. By going through the pit lane, it clears up the start line so that the marshals, the low loader, recovering Nigel's car can work without worry of us lot coming through and getting in the way. It's a potentially dangerous situation, even though we're all doing very, very low speeds, where the car, I say we, I'm not in the race, it's Ian, but you know, where everyone can drive through the pit lane, it just gives the marshals and the recovery crew more space and a safer environment to work in. Now, the downside of that is that we also misheard over the tannoy that because the safety car was coming through the pits, it wouldn't count as a mandatory pit stop if you stopped in your garage. And this panicked us. You can see on the stream now the safety car coming into the pits. This panicked us because we wanted to get our stop done and dusted and out of the way. We're in the pit window, so what's the problem? Now, we all know, well, we think we know the rules, but in the heat of the moment, you do question them, especially when there's an element of doubt pops in, and that element of doubt came from a misheard communication. So Mark Chappell legged it, and I do mean legged it, because he'd got about a minute to get up to race control, ask the Puma Cup representative, Charlotte Rushworth, what the rule is, and then get back down to us. He did it in the nick of time and said it will count. This is the mandatory pit stop. So you can see on the right hand side how hectic it is. So there the 3 of us are in the yellow tops. We just, yeah, there's no rule says you have to stop in front of a garage, so we didn't. We instructed Ian to stop a little bit behind Gary Barlow's car. I was about to say I'll leave the audio with the pit stop, but...
Yeah, perfect. Right, so we're thinking 17 seconds to the line, but in order to get track position, we could send you...
I should do a little la 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 here. I don't want to give away one of our tactics, but I'll...
And then you slow truck to the line, and that could give you track position. You alright? this is what I'm thinking. Right. Okay, you've got time on it there as well, 30 seconds. Hang on, it's all saved 1 minute now. Right, I'm going to shut the door. You're doing cracking, mate. Good job. Watch the time to the left.
There we go. So, yeah, we wondered if we could steal a march over the opposition there. And there's Gareth on the right-hand side. Luke is coming out just ahead of us. But look on the right. There's the purple car of Marcus. We've jumped him. There's the Jacksons in the green one. And here's Neil. Is that Neil? I think that's Neil on the right-hand side. Was that Neil? I'm not sure. I think we got ahead of... Yes, it was Neil in the rearview mirror. So we managed to jump Marcus. Marcus was leading the race at the start of these pit stops. But once it's all shaken out, Luke is ahead. We are in second. Neil has handed the car over to Nick. So Nick Fulljames is now in the white car with the black bumper. And Marcus, the pole sitter and early race leader, is now down in 4th place. So we don't know how long we've got left of this safety car. It's been quite a long one because the car was in a difficult place for the marshals to recover it. But yeah, that's really turned the race on its head. We're up to second. This is now shades of Alton, shades of Silverstone, Ian Howard chasing down Luke Johnson. The poleman and the quick guy in the purple car is 2 places behind us, and Nick in the white one's been promoted to 3rd. So we got 5 Pumas, because Gareth Cotgrove was in 5th position. He was right in the back as well. You might get a view on the live stream in a moment of how close the 5 Pumas were, but Luke's got a bit of a gap ahead of him to the next car. Now, in a safety car situation, you want to close all those gaps, because when it does go green, you may as well be as close to the car in front as you possibly can be, and that is within the rules to close those gaps. So all good there. We're at... Oh yeah, there's the pack. So yeah, Luke's been doing this too long. He knows not to leave a gap under a safety car. So yeah, there's 5 Pumas altogether. The order's been mixed up, and Ian's going to have the bit between his teeth. Like I said, he was probably annoyed that he dropped back at the start, but again, he didn't really make any mistakes there. It just happened that way. But yeah, 2nd place with 23 minutes to go, still under a safety car. The restart could be hectic because, yeah, they just normally are. Now, I'm not sure if this is the lap where the safety car comes in or whether we have another lap of safety car driving to go. I seem to recall we saw on the live stream a moment ago that the Honda that was stuck on the start line was on the back of the wrecker and being carried around the circuit back to the paddock. So, yeah, there's a good chance that we're going to go green this time around. Now, in this situation, you want to be doing it's like an outlap at the start of the race, you know, before we get racing. You want to get everything as warm as possible. So you'll have seen Ian weaving down the straight a little bit there, trying to get some temperature into the tyres. I like to just hover the left foot over the brake just to get the brake pads up to temperature. What I find is that on the first lap of the race or on a restart, people tend to neglect the brakes and it causes a bit of chaos. People diving wide at the first couple of corners. But if you can make sure your brakes are up to temperature, then you can give yourself an advantage and the potential to nick a place or 2, or even just not lose one when the person behind has a lunge. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going green this lap. So everyone's sort of trying to shuffle as far forward as they can without overtaking the car in front before they get to the line. So yeah, Ian's put his foot down coming out. We've got a decent run on Luke here. We're actually closing a little bit. Getting the slipstream, tuck up against the pit wall. Use the aerodynamics because you need every advantage you can in the Puma Cup. Over the line, we can now overtake. And Ian dives to the outside, looks to the inside. Is he going to have a go here? He's having a go. Ah, that's close, flipping heck. Good job, Ian. But yeah, equally good job, Luke. Could have cut across us and potentially caused an accident. But I've raced wheel to wheel with Luke plenty of time. Oh, another lock up into the hairpin. Tyres weren't quite ready for that. Not quite warmed up enough. Yeah, I've raced wheel to wheel with Luke, one of the fairest drivers out there. and Ian loves getting stuck in as well. So we've got 21 minutes to go, and it's just going to be hammered down to the flag. It's like a sprint race. Once upon a time, the Pumas did run their own standalone race at Cadwell Park. I think I'm going to say 6, possibly 7 years ago. There were 12 cars on the grid that day, and they had a 20-minute sprint all to themselves. So we've only got 6 cars on the grid today, but yeah, a 20-minute sprint. Now there goes Mr. Windmill, one of the fastest cars on the grid. So is he? We didn't really lose too much time there, and was that a Honda? We got I don't know what that was. Will Luke be compromised here? Yes, he will be. So that could give Ian an advantage as we come down onto the Bentley straight in a moment. But we've also been compromised. There goes Sean Ely in the Peugeot. I sound like Porky Pig in the Peugeot 205. So whilst we were lucky to close up a little bit on Luke, we then lost that advantage. So no chance of attacking down here into the S's at the end of the straight. Quick look in the rear view mirror. Can't really see any threat from behind at the moment, so we're all good there. So Ian's just going to be head down. He's going to be absolutely red dotted on the rear bumper of Luke's car. When I say red dotted, I mean it's like, you know, the in the movies when the guy aims the machine gun and the little red dot goes onto the baddie's chest. That kind of thing. Your eyes just fix on that car in front, and almost to the detriment of performance driving, you don't look at the edge of the circuits, you don't even look at the apexes, you're just focused. And look, Ian's managed to close up on the exit there. Oh, his visor keeps falling down, he has to push it up. So yeah, get in the slipstream, Ian. Are we going to go to the inside? Are we going to try and hang it around the outside? Is he not even going to make a move? He's feinting to the inside. Is this going to be on the brakes? Oh, nice one. Up the inside. Has he made it stick? Yes. There's Luke in the rearview mirror. Good job, Ian. Now, sensible thing to do now is get to the inside and protect that lead into the hairpin. Tight round there. Look how Luke swung wide, though, to get a good exit. Luke's... Oh, he's gaining. I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, that visor looks like it's annoying, Ian. He has to keep pushing it up. Right, he's made the pass stick. He's held it for a couple of corners, and we can get a proper exit out of the corner down to Agostini's now. So, but yeah, Luke's right there. And Snetterton's a funny old circuit, and it's one of those where, although we are on the right live stream, look, 2 yellow Pumas. I know Luke's is a bit blue, but 2 yellow Pumas, brilliant. There's Marcus up into third, and Nick and Gareth on the stream as well. Some dust kicked up. What's going on? Who cares about the dust? Let's keep our eyes on what's going on with us. So yeah, Ian's he's done really well. He's managed to get hold of the lead and hang on to it for a couple of corners. So we're now in eyes forward mode. It's very tempting to drive in your rear view mirrors and compromise your speed, your overall lap time. But fundamentally, if Ian does go eyes forward and hammers out the lap times, he might be able to pull a bit of a gap. But look at Luke closing with the slipstream there. And Luke's going to the outside under the bridge. And where's he gone? He's done it! Oh my God. Wow. Okay. I won't lie, Ian told me that Luke got him around the outside there, but that's the first time I've actually seen it. Amazing. Great drive, great move from Luke. Ian did nothing wrong, but Luke hung it out and made it stick. But you just know it's not over yet. We've still got 17 minutes to go. I don't think I've finished what I was about to say about Snetterton. It's a bit circuit of two halves. You know, the first half of the circuit is quite tight and twisty. There's a lot of corners, there's a lot of gear changing going on. And then the second, maybe 2/3, it's much wider. There's lots of straights and lots of fast corners. And it's not quite as technical round there. Now, we've gone to the inside. Look at Luke defending to the inside. And this corner, Richie's, it's kind of double apex, but Luke's managed to maintain that. I thought Ian might have a go there. But it's okay having a long straight and you get a slipstream, you can be going quicker. But when the first corner is quite a quick one, there's no real braking zone. So the cars kind of stay as they were through the corner. It's a lot harder to make a pass into turn 1 here than it is at some other circuits, simply because the minimum apex speed around Ritchie's, I'm going to say maybe 75, possibly 80 miles an hour. It's a really fast corner. And when you're braking from 110, you're only on the brakes a fraction of a second. So there's not much opportunity to do a better job than the car in front. And that's why it's so difficult to pass into turn 1 at this circuit. So where are we now? I think that's Williams, the left-hander. I could be wrong. Oh, a bit wide over the strips there. Oh, what have we got? Maybe 4 or 5 car lengths up to Luke. But have a look in the rearview mirror. Is that that's a silver car, so that's not Marcus. We're okay. I'm going to say it. We said it at Silverstone as well. The amount of coverage that we got on the live stream was brilliant. And it's testament to the racing in the Puma Cup. Now, the other classes do have great races, but they tend to come together at the end of the race. They don't race as wheel to wheel. Somebody's going to correct me on that, I'm sure. But because of their success penalties, there's the cars have got a wider speed differential through their grids, but they do come together at the end of the race. In the Puma Cup, it tends to be close the whole way through. And that's why the live stream likes to stick with us, because you are seeing really, really pure racing. I'm going to sound like a stuck record here, but the Puma Cup cars are so evenly matched. Go and buy a Ford. Oh, Ian's gone wide again, pushing on. No problem, though, as you were. The Puma Cup cars are so evenly matched. Go and buy yourself a 1.7 Z-Tech Puma. Strip as much out of it as you can to get the weight down. Put the Puma Cup gas gold suspension on with the rear, with the poly bushes and whatnot. What else do you do? Sort the exhaust out, sort the clutch out, put some racing brake pads on and a set of Dunlop Direxers, and then all of your safety gear. So your racing seat, your harness, your fire bottle, fire extinguisher, and I'm probably forgetting something, but you're good to go racing at that point. From a performance point of view, nobody's got an advantage over anybody else. You can't do anything to the engine, you can't do anything to the handling other than the suspension and stiffen up run the poly bushes, put an anti-roll bar in, simple stuff that any garage mechanic, amateur mechanic can handle. And you've got a car which can go racing in the Puma Cup. You can do all that for probably about $5,000, which makes the Puma one of the cheapest entry-level motorsport categories in the UK. It's also one of the friendliest. You've seen how much we all help each other and how much we all get along. This is a good opportunity to tell you a bit about our pre-race situation. The exhaust was blowing a little bit, and it was quite old, so we got a new one. Mark and Mike managed to fit the new one the week before, but it needed welding up to finish the job, and I hired a local welder, a mobile welder, to where I live, and he came out and finished it on the Saturday. Now, he did a good job of fitting the exhaust, welding the exhaust. Oh, look at Luke getting stuck there. We've closed right on him. All right, I want to finish the welding story, but when we've got this kind of situation on the track, I want to draw your attention to that. Okay, so the back marker on the left didn't cost us anything, but we're now right back on Luke's bumper. So get a good run round Coram, get a good exit from the chicane, and maybe we can have a run down the start line. That will be what Ian's thinking, and I'm pretty sure that's what Luke's thinking as well. That Honda in front of us is quick down a straight line, but it did compromise Luke on his apex speed. This is as close as Ian has been. Which way is he going to go? Have we got a run? Come on, Ian. See us on the pit wall there in our bright yellow teamwear. More about that later. But look, Luke's managed to pull away there. We got a better exit from the corner, but Luke's managed to pull a car length or two down the straight. So, again, that just goes to show how evenly these cars are matched, power-wise, performance-wise. But Ian's now having a look down the inside to Wilson's. thinks better of it. You know what? That was a wise move by Ian. He could have had a lunge there, and it could have cost us quite dearly. Thought better of it. Live to fight another day. We've still got 11 and a bit minutes left. So yeah, back to the welding thing then. The mobile welder that I booked, he did a cracking job of the welding. The welding was beautiful, but he did not do a great job of putting the exhaust where it was meant to be. And when we rolled the car off the trailer, it caught on the edge of the trailer, and basically, I wouldn't say it got stuck, but it was banging against the bottom of the car, and it was deafening under throttle. So we had a mission to try and fix it. We were trying to move the exhaust, we were trying to hang it, we were trying to bolt brackets to it. I say we, this was Mark and Mike, and we're talking 10:30, nearly 11 o'clock the night before in the paddock. And they did a cracking job of plan B, but plan A was to cut the thing, reposition it, and then re-weld it. But we didn't have a welder. So we decided to call it that night and then mission on in the morning to try and find a welder and get it sorted. We did manage to find one, a chap called Dean, who races in the, I think, the Swinging 60 series. No, it can't be. I don't know. He's got a Nissan 240Z, a beautiful car in a retro livery. And Dean was really, really kind. He lent us his TIG welder. And Nick Fulljames, who races in the Puma Cup in the white car with Neil Jackson, is a skilled TIG welder. And he took about half an hour to an hour out of his own race prep, about an hour before qualifying, to help us out. So, you know, huge thanks to Dean for that, and a huge thanks to Nick for doing that. You know, everyone's got their pre-session routine, and Nick broke his to help us out. We are very, very grateful. But again, that's testament to the Puma Cup. It happened at Silverstone when Katie's wheel bearing went. Everyone just jumped on to help out and got her back out for the race session, and it happened here to us as well. Now, we've helped enough people in the paddock, but it's always nice and you always feel special when people come and help you. There were an awful lot of people to thank, so I won't go through them by name, but every single one of you, thank you. Look at Ian having another little look up the inside there. And did you see on the live stream how close the purple car was? Marcus has started to close back up on us, and the gap was about 2-3 seconds, but it is relentless up the front with Luke and Ian. Previous to this round of the Puma Cup, the race lap record, I could be mistaken, but I thought it was a 2-minute 26.5. Rick Clare, who was helping run Gareth's car this weekend, he told me that Jamie, who's not here today, that Jamie had done a 26.0 around here. So, yeah, we'll take Rick's word for it. 26.0 is the lap record. And I don't know if it's been broken yet, but Luke and Ian did that thing of pushing each other. They pushed and pushed and pushed, and they drove each other on, and they did that next level thing that you see sometimes. It's very rare in motorsport. They both got the flow. If you're familiar with the flow, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They both got it in a mutually beneficial situation and pushed each other to levels that are just frankly phenomenal. I can hand on heart say, if I'd have been driving Woodstock today, I don't think I could have kept up with it. Whether it's happened yet or not, I don't know, but by the end of this race, they were separated by 1/10 of a second on their fastest laps. Ian managed to get the fastest lap and the new lap record of 2 minutes 24.5 seconds. That is a second and a half faster than any Puma Cup car has ever gone round this track. A second and a half. That is mind-boggling. And Luke was only a 10th behind in 2 minutes 24.6. So, yeah, if you know about motorsport timing, you'll know how special that is. Not just for Ian to get the record and undercut it by so much, but for two drivers to be running on that pace. And looking at the timing afterwards, they were both in the 24s, lap after lap after lap. Now, Ian's got another run out. He's going to the inside. He's on the brake. Yeah, that's brave. That's really brave. Ah, you know what? Had to have a go. Time's marching on. Luke is not making mistakes, so when you see or have a sniff of an opportunity, you take it. Fair play to Ian. Yeah, I wouldn't have been that close to Luke in the first place, but if I'd have been in that situation, I'd have done exactly the same. Unlucky, Ian, you had a go, it didn't work out, and the upshot is now that Luke's got a bit of breathing space. But by the same token, a bit of breathing space is a bit like red mist to a racing driver. When you can see tarmac in front of you, it's only ever a good thing if you're leading the race. And I'll look at Gareth and Nick on the stream. Nick went up the inside, Gareth got him back on the switch. Brilliant. So that's for 4th and 5th in the Puma Cup. They're having a brilliant scrap. Fair play to them. I feel a bit for Marcus here, because he's been, started on pole and he's been driving around in 3rd place, hammering the lap times, doing really well. But unfortunately, he was on his own. He didn't have anyone to go wheel to wheel with. It's just the way it shakes out sometimes. So where are we now? 5 minutes to go. Around Snetterton, that's probably 2, possibly 3 laps. I say 3 because when the timer gets to 0, the next time the leader crosses the line is when the checkered flag goes out. So depending on where you are on the circuit relative to the leader determines whether you get an extra lap or not. And I don't know where the leader is on the track right now, but at face value, it looks very much like we're going to get 2 more laps when Ian crosses the line this time. Bit of a cross up under braking. That doesn't actually slow you down. If anything, that's a good thing to see. When the car starts squirreling under braking, you know you're on the limit. You know you are. And you get the rear of the car dancing a little bit. That helps with the rotation of the car. And the sooner the car is rotated around the apex and pointing in the direction you want to go, the sooner you can get your foot down and accelerate down the next straight. Now, I don't have the lap timing to hand, but Ian's on a mission, and it does look visually like he's closing up on Luke a little bit. Luke took a very late apex there, possibly not the quickest way around the corner, but he did get a good drive out of it. So what we think, I can't do any live timing on this for you because there's no real reference points. Oh, maybe when we get to the bridge down the straight, that could work. So I had a bit of a mind block then. I was thinking of something else. Look at him, he keeps pushing the visor up on his helmet. I think I'm going to recommend another lock up into Agos. He's pushing. He is really pushing. Fair play to him. Yeah, I love to see this. 3 minutes to go, well, 3.5. You still don't know who's going to win the race. If Ian gets into a zone where he can use this gap to go a bit quicker, then the muscle memory of braking a bit later, getting on the throttle a little bit earlier, that muscle memory can then count when you're on the bumper of the car in front. And having a bit of breathing space like we've got now, if Ian does get back onto Luke's bumper, he'll be in a better position to make the pass than he was before the gap opened up. Am I making sense? It all makes sense in my head. I hope that I am making sense to you. I always do these voiceover recordings in one go. I sometimes stop and have a little break, but I never go back and re-record anything. You just get what you get. This particular one, my record time is now on 33 minutes. So I've actually been talking for 33 minutes into this microphone without a break. So I'm going a little stir crazy here myself. Which is why I might not be making any sense to you, but I hope so. And if I'm not making sense, John, you are waffling now. Shut the hell up. Concentrate on the racing. Right, down into 3rd gear. Hit the apex. Boot the throttle on the exit. Look at the timer. We're coming up to the start line, and we're going to be crossing it in a few seconds' time. Let's see what's on the timer now. So, when we cross the line now, 2 minutes and 1 second. We're not getting round before the timer hits 0. So this could be our final lap. It depends where the leader is. But look at the gap to Luke. Luke's managed to pull away a little bit. Has Ian decided, you know what, 2nd place is better than nothing, I'll bring it home. He might have done, but I doubt it knowing Ian. And look on the stream, Gareth and Marcus having a brilliant scrap down into Willys. And Oh, Marcus got the switch back. He's gone for the inside. Did he make it stick? I don't know where to look. Now, Marcus defended that really well, but Gareth is also going to know that this is his last lap, so he's having a real push to get that final podium spot from Marcus. But here's Mr. Windmill in his Honda Civic. He might have an influence on that podium fight. But I've got my eyes forward on the main camera at the moment because Luke is still X amount of car lengths ahead of us. That gap hasn't really closed up. And it is looking like it's going to be the last lap now. So, yeah, what a race, though, you know. It's been great. That early safety car, it kind of helped the overall race, I think, because it put everybody out in the same situation rather than breaking the pack up when people have pit stops and whatnot. There was no pitting to get out of the traffic and put some laps in. There was no tactical advantage. It was a raw race, sprint style, from green flag restart to the finish. And live stream picks us up again. But look at this, we've actually closed on Luke a little bit here. We're not far off. It's still too far to make a lunge into the next corner, but into the last couple of corners, but who knows, if we get an extra lap. But up on the stream again, Marcus defending like hell from Gareth. Gareth will be chomping at the bit to make this pass stick. So we're in an amazing race for the lead. They're in an amazing race for the podium. Up on the live stream now, there's the leader. Now, Luke ahead of us, we're in second. We've got the leader coming up behind. And do you remember what I said about when the leader crosses the line? Watch this. There goes the leader. Luke crosses the line. The leader takes the flag. We take the flag. Oh, that's annoying. A bit too much to process here. Gary Barlow on the live stream, he also had a wheel bearing failure and had to retire on the last lap of the race. So that's it for us. We saw the checkered flag and our race is over. Luke ahead of us, who you can still see on the camera, he's still racing. He didn't take the checkered flag because the leader was between us at the line. So all Luke has to do now is roll round to the checker and he takes the win. And there's nothing we can do about it because our race is now over. Ian, an amazing drive. Well done, mate. Pushed on, took your chances when you had them. Tried to make some chances out of not really chances, but you had a go. Brilliant racing spirit. Well done. Well done to Luke for the win. And also to Marcus, who made his podium. I've thanked enough people not enough people for all their pre-race help, but without doubt, the stars of the show this weekend for me, Mark and Mike. Brilliant troopers, amazing work. Thank you so much, guys. We couldn't go racing without you. So yeah, on to the next one. We're going to be at Castle Combe in early August. I will be back in the car for that. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks, everybody. Well done, Ian. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Cheers, folks. Bye.